Mind Walk. Thanks for joining us on the Mind Walk podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Sean, and this is Barney the Wonderdog. Barney da Wonderdog.
We're going to go for a walk and talk about some things, and we'd love for you to join us.
So subscribe to the Mind Walk podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, or where you find all of your pod stuff. Follow us on social media at Mind Walk Pod.
Now, everyone is going to get one free Mind Walk a week, but because you want more Mind Walk, support us on Patreon. For $1.99 a month, you get absolutely nothing, but you get the satisfaction of supporting us. For $5, you can become a trail angel and get 3 Mind Walks on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for $10 a month, you can get 5 Mind Walks a week. That's 7.5 hours of content Monday through Friday. Now, let's get into the Mind Walk!
It did my heart good seeing kind of people out and about last night.
Yeah, you were around here?
Yeah. And
you said it was called Frogtown?
So we're going to be walking into Frogtown.
So what is Frogtown anyway? It sounds like, isn't there some like bar somewhere that's called like Senor Frogs or something?
That's definitely in like Mexico, Baja, Mexico.
So what's Frogtown about?
Frogtown, I think it's because it's the area between the 5 and the river. And you could hear the sound of the frogs from the river.
So it's not like the French Quarter?
No, but it was the one of the neighborhoods that a lot of the people from Elysian Park kind of moved.
You'd find that funnier. Me saying
that. Oh, sorry. I was so into the history. I
said that really just for you.
And I appreciate it. Thank you. And also because typically I'm the one saying fucking racist shit. Damn. I was so in my like autistic brain, just like, and I'm going to tell you the history that I didn't even hear I heard your joke. I just didn't recognize. Like, I am so sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It wasn't a good joke.
Yes, because shouldn't a good joke like almost leave somebody a little bit off balance in the recognition of it?
I think I do that to you a lot, though. Sometimes I'll be dissertating on something, and then you'll make a point, and then I'll like you'll make a pun rather, and I'll just bulldoze through it like I didn't even hear it.
Oh, there he is.
There's Barney.
There he is.
Okay, but what were you saying about this?
Oh yeah, so I think that you could hear the frogs from the river. Now, yes, I know we're walking into a traffic zone, but she showed me this secret path, and I was like, oh my god, I love a fucking secret path. And this is it. We're on the secret path.
Oh, look at this. We got a couple of kids playing hacky sack or something.
How's it going?
What's up, guys?
So far, so good. Yeah, and I smoked. I took two hits of her joint, and she said it was some kind of hybrid. I'm trying to find, of course, whatever this joint was. I may look to that to try to be, is this the formula that enables me to be able to?
Well, that reminds me of when we were having that conversation about. You said, like the perfect amount of alcohol is between 2 and 5 drinks.
Yeah.
So is it that same kind of thing? You're trying to find like the perfect amount of joint smoke?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, look, I guess the thing I'm finding, like I had some, I guess it was wax off of a pen.
Okay, yeah.
Wax pen when I was doing
the yesterday's
One Right
podcast.
Way. No One Right Way.
Yeah.
The other day, because Rich took a hit, and then I was like, well, if he's doing a hit, I'll take a hit. And I know I get really chatty when I smoke, so I thought that'll be good for the podcast. I don't know if it was actually good for me, ultimately. Like, because it does slow me down a little. It makes me chattier, but it also, like, sometimes it makes it harder for me to, like, find the right word that I want, if I'm wanting to be specific. But hey, there's something really nice, I guess, about how, since I've been smoking so much less, I mean, I'm not smoking every day like I used to be, that even if I just have a little bit, it gets me really far.
Yeah.
So now I feel like, I could have just like a puff or two or something, and then it's like, no, I'm high for the night.
Yeah. That's the way I felt last night.
And then don't even try and push it.
Yeah. And I was like, not uncomfortably high. I was like, it was kind of just perfect. Yeah, so this is literally the worst part about it, of the hike.
Oh, that we're in a giant cage?
We're in a giant cage over the meat grinder.
This is a really disgusting bridge, too.
Yeah.
I like that there are bridges over the freeways. There should be more ways to get over, freeways to get over the roads and walk, make it a walkable city. But yeah.
It's, I mean, whatever, abolish the car. That's really the key.
Well, that came up on the No One Right Way also, actually.
Yeah.
They were talking about, like, how hard it is to survive off of, like, a basic income. And they're saying, and then got to pay your parking ticket, and then if my check engine light goes off, then there's a regulation, I have to go get it checked. And so I brought it back to, okay, well, let's talk about how the car is really causing this problem.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is the part of the river that's actually feels like a river. You got some trees in it,
Well, were we walking on the other side of this river before, or is this another section of
So
that,
we were on the other side of it, but where we're going to pick it up is even past farther when we walked on the other side. I think we only came up to about this area last time, and then we went back.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're picking
now
it
I
up.
get to see it at night.
Yeah. And
you can actually see some stars tonight. How about that?
Yeah. But it also has a real flow in this area. I don't know if I'm. Whoa! What'd you got, Barney? He didn't have an urge to go in last night, but yeah, the car. It's like it has given us so much, like, progress in so many ways. But it's like maybe it is a vestigial, transitional space.
I think so.
Yeah, that we need to just.
I think we have the ability to plan now. I think we can plan our cities, and there have been planned cities that have failed, of course.
Yeah.
But the car. I want my cities designed around walking and public transportation, and also just that the car is isolating.
Yeah.
It's isolating, and it's very capitalistic. Because it's like, okay, you need a car, and so do I, and so do they, and you all need one. But then once you have one, then it's your personal responsibility, I was telling. Like, it's this thing that now you're responsible for your gas, now you're responsible for your repairs, now you're responsible for your ticket, now you're responsible for all this. All these individualized things.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's, again, coming out of your paycheck, right? And if you can't make it,
they take it
in the
away.
system, it's like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You failed, But really, because you've made the car necessary to function, I mean, we're talking about being in LA, let's face it. It's
or Vegas. These are two cities that you can't survive with a car, or it's very difficult.
It's like, we're going to make it all about the car, but then, it's not a fucking public car, it's your private car, and now we're heaping more personal responsibilities. That's why I'm still driving the same car that I drove in high school, 20 years later.
Yeah.
And occasionally my mom's like, hey, aren't you going to get a new car? And it's like, why would I want to give myself like another fucking rent payment every month and have to deal with that? Like, it would just be such a burden to have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's the capitalist trap. That's the tar that we are mired in. It's almost like a crude oil. The car is literally a tar baby that you can't extract yourself from. It's, what were you saying? Oh yes, that the punishment, right? So typically when people go homeless, all these homeless people that we have around, their last stop often before they're actually homeless is living in their car. And then the system just slowly erodes that possession from them.
Yeah.
It just keeps on fucking busting them out. And busting them out,
Yeah. And making it harder. And I know that the laws around parking trailers, parking cars have been getting more and more strict.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at those overnight hours, you're not allowed to park between this hour and this hour, like this weird hours at night. I mean, that's got to be for two reasons. One, because it's an easy way for the city to generate revenue because they know that if you don't catch it by fucking 2 a.m. or whatever, that you're going to be fucked and have to pay. Yeah. But also, it's a way of trying to shoo the homeless, right?
Well, get out of here. Everybody keep moving. That's the heart of fucking capitalism.
That was in the NoHo West.
Yes.
Right? I decided to go check out that Trader Joe's.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think this was enforced, but in the parking lot they had like 45-minute parking. Ugh. Right? And it was just painted on there. Now,
well, you know how I feel about that stuff.
Yeah. Well,
so real quick, there's these.
It's to generate turnover, but
yeah. So these permanent, what I call them permanent shadows, but it's architecture that's designed, or it's light design that's designed that this is going to be this piece of light that lives here permanently. I don't know why.
Also like a James Turrell kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know why it fascinates me so much. Just a nice piece of permanent light from that light bulb coming in there. But also on this side, the light looks like a
light bulb. That's not from.
Oh, you mean from the street light? That's what I mean.
Uh-huh.
This is some kind of city lighting that's creating that. So it's always going to be there. It's always going to be that shape.
Well, was it designed for that, or is it just that? You've got an arch here, and we know that's a very strong, structurally integritous.
If you look at this side, it looks almost like evil eyes. The light shape.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So it's kind of like and again, like I don't know if it's necessarily by design or it's kind of a design byproduct, but I just do love the way these permanent shadows are created, because it's not the same as like sunlight. The sunlight is going to move. It's going to change throughout the day. But at night, it's always going to be exactly the same. I don't know why that fascinates me so much.
Well, I like those eyes. It very much looks like cartoon eyes.
Are you going to try to do a long exposure picture?
I don't know. I'll see what I can get.
I mean, you got an 11, right?
I don't think actually that I can get far back enough to get it.
Well, you can go past. It's just slope here. If you want to go past it.
Yeah, I might be able to get it at an angle here. Oh yeah, that kind of works. It's kind of fun. I'm not sure it'll come out, but whatever.
I mean, I don't know if there's a word for it. Okay, here.
A word for what?
Okay, sit. Good boy. Just stay. Good boy. Good Barney. See, that was what I was talking about. Good boy. Good boy.
I like it.
Good boy.
It's nice to take pleasure in even just, I don't know. Ooh. Decolonize your mind.
Fuck yeah, bro.
That's the graffiti of the day.
Yeah, it is. Decolonize your mind. Welcome to the dungeon. / beware of brain. C : / beware of brain.
A lot of brain here in the tunnel. Oh, it's like programming.
Yeah.
C : / beware of brain. Oh, yeah. That's like don't think.
Exactly. I mean, just what are the shifts we can make? What are the shifts? What are the things that we can do to make life not so oppressive? Or is it just a fact that when you get 7.5 billion critters, it's just going to be oppressive?
Couldn't lean back quite far enough, but...
Is death the only liberation?
Well, of course it is. It's the only true liberation. Right?
Yeah. Oh, is this a flag? Is this a flag of our fathers? Oh, it's a broken umbrella. Oh, man.
I don't know why, but something about walking around here with all these lights on at night, it feels like, I don't know, European or something?
Yes! That's a great way of putting it. It feels a little more like we're in a gentle city center. You know, and we're going to cross this bridge here, so we're a little bit more away from the traffic, but it feels well designed. It feels like, because I think this is part of the whole river rebuild project. This is a newer bridge, and compared to the bridge that we were just on, or the footbridge that we were just on, this one's a lot. More modern.
Lovely.
Yeah. Nice and wide. You know, it's got a little fencing here so your dog can't run off the edge. But if you really needed to jump in the river, you could.
The lights aren't blaring, they're just...
Yeah. And it's right on the footpath, too.
Yep.
It's very well designed. I'm very happy with this bridge.
Well, I guess they're really trying to... It's part of the LA River Improvement Project that they've been doing, right?
Yeah.
Keep it up, guys. Make the LA River a thing. Start from the water source.
Yeah. Because this is, I mean, when the Tongva people first moved into Los Angeles, they came to the river so that they could, you know, have potable water and a source for fish and probably a way to travel. You know, it's riverways and ports. Those are the places where man sets up shop. You know?
I mean, I only wish I could go back in time, or I guess I don't need to go back in time, but I would have loved to have been able to just see what this land would have looked like before there was all this concrete and iron on it.
Well, we should get somebody, some LA historian to come on a hike with us and describe how these things would have looked.
Well, I was driving, sometimes you're driving through town and it's all flat, but then you'll sort of like go up you'll slope up a hill, right? And then come down.
Right? Okay, good. Yeah.
And you got to figure that underneath all of that there was a hill there.
Yeah.
And you could have hiked up that hill. And instead now they paved over it, now you're driving over it.
Paved over paradise and put up a parking lot. Ooh, sha-la-la. Yeah? Just the sheer, like, I would say if we got rid of cars and the infrastructures undergirding our transportation system, that could reverse a lot of the climate catastrophe that we're dealing with, right? Just start with cars. And that would be the beginning of reversing a lot of this. Because
I agree.
Everything that's paved over, it's just like fucking, putting a fucking leather sweaty corset on the planet or whatever, It's like, also just like the air just fills with fucking particulates and exhaust. And
well, I think of the roads as being cracks in the earth that are just perpetually leaking small amounts, small on the global scale, of CO2 into the atmosphere, and it's just constantly
I would
coming out of all these little cracks. And but also air travel takes a huge amount. I mean, I don't know if globally if it's cars or airplanes that do the most, but I know air is particularly nasty.
Yeah, but again, like the infrastructure that we've built for cars
Yeah.
is probably overall worse, and also just the trash of just like cars, just like all the parts and all the crashes and all the human cost and all the drunk driving and it's just the human cost of cars is going to be much greater than even the exhaust from airplanes. But yeah, let's get rid of airplanes too. Fuck, you know, I told you my solution to air travel is just big fucking catapults. You just have a catapult in fucking New York, and if you want to go to London, you just get it's just like it's a pod with, I don't know, 100 people in it, and you just poof, and then there's just a giant net that catches them on the other side. Fucking cheap.
Well, I know that I've read some articles recently about revisiting the Zeppelin as a form of travel. Just get a balloon and just gently float it over there, right? Airship. Takes more time, but can take less fuel.
So I would love to have this property. Look at how huge that yard is. You're at the end of a cul-de-sac, and all these trees are kind of integrated in the fence.
You see that?
Yucca?
No. The concrete block there with that sort of...
Oh yeah, the little flower kind of shape.
What is that, like from the 80s or the 70s or something?
I think it's actually was designed in the 50s. I think it was part of the mid-century modern design push, but that mid-century modern design push ended up infecting the 70s.
Gotcha.
They just had a billion of those kinds of bricks to build shit with by the 70s. Yeah, because it was everywhere, right?
I had a Japanese friend come and visit a number of years ago, and we went to, I believe, LACMA.
Oh, yeah.
And they had an exhibit on... Well, it was like this interior architecture exhibit. And I was walking through, and we were looking at all these like miniature displays. Like, this is what this room would look like, and here's what a kitchen would look like, and here's what a living room would look like. And I swear, for the first 5-10 minutes I was in there, I thought I was looking at a design of the future.
Oh, yeah,
and it turns out I was actually looking at like the fucking 70s or something.
Isn't that crazy?
So less architecture, more interior design, I should specify there.
But it was all those like smooth kind of like bubble shapes, right?
Yeah. And these like starkly contrasting colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Colors.
I mean, the future is going to look like fucking goddamn Idiocracy, right? Everything's going to have
an advertisement
on it, everything's going to be like all that actionware that they had.
I think they're going to want to feed us more screens, because every screen means another chance to both spy on us and give us advertisement.
Yeah, well, so
make all surfaces screens.
Oh, that's a good point. But also the gigantic TV he had individual fucking TVs from the 70s size of advertising, and then the viewable space was just the size of a regular widescreen TV.
So just flanked and surrounded on all sides
with advertising,
ensconced in advertisements.
Yeah, and and again, I think we're living right now somewhere in Contagion meets Idiocracy. It's like this is. Oh, I also listened to Virus B23, the Burroughs poem today, and I was reminded that he's like, so it's a virus that's, it's a spoken word virus that gets in you and it alters your genetics.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. And I think that is what advertising is. It's a virus that gets into our heads, and then we eat stuff that is not good for us. And on a what's that word? Epigenetic level, it alters our genetics. But this is kind of the beginnings of Frogtown here.
Okay.
Once the freeway kind of goes off, we go to the other side. That's where Dan lived for years, over in that neighborhood.
This is pretty pleasant, not having the sun beating us into a pulp as we go.
And this is, It's almost like if we could figure out how to do evening hikes until the end of fucking September. It's making a huge difference. A huge difference. But it's also, that's the thing about the night, is like, it's, you know, bedtime, sexy times, drug times, you know, it's like, this is the time where if you were going to have a relaxing blowout, this would be the time to do it, because you can just like, you know, have enough to drink and then just slide into bed and just be out. So like doing something productive in these hours is a little contradictory to getting good rest. But it is nice.
Maybe. I mean, giving myself the exercise, I think, helps me sleep better, though.
Oh, fuck yeah. How has your sleep been since we've been pretty consistent with this?
I don't know. I'm feeling like the last couple of weeks haven't really been consistent at all.
Yeah, because of the work.
They've been more consistent, I think, because I'm no longer waking up at like 2 in the afternoon. So clearly,
oh, good.
I'm doing better on that.
Yeah.
Waking up early, and not getting too far outside of that. But definitely, you know, being on set for that week just totally fucked me up in terms of my sleep schedule.
Yeah. I always say nothing good happens between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Nothing good. There's nothing good could come of that time. But yeah, but imagine all of Hollywood is living in that. When they get the fucking machine cranked up again, it's just going to be, you know, 25% of the city is just going to be in that fucked up, not getting enough sleep, you know, chasing their schedule, working 12, 14 hours a day. It's just, that's the rhythm of capitalism. You know, all these people that have been convinced to be freelancers, you know, for whatever reason, however that worked. Like now I'm thinking like, oh, I liked having a regular gig kind of for the year that I had a regular gig, being an employee. But then I also realized like, it's just either if you're doing your job well, it's not exciting. You just take care of the things as they come, and there should be no drama. Just take care of it. Or if you have bad management or you're working on a bad product, every day is like some kind of like, something's happening. And that's just neither of those spaces are good to be in. You want to have a little bit of like good consistency, and then, you know, opportunities for challenges. Opportunities to stretch yourself. But it's like the car analogy, where yeah, you could just rent a new car or lease a new car or buy a new car and everything's going to be fine, but then you have to work harder to have that car.
No. Not interested.
No. And you're going to be getting a bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be getting Ron's bike.
So we should go on a mind bike.
Do you have a bike?
I got a bike. I'm a bike guy traditionally. I like to hike a lot, but I've even had, at my last gig, I'd say 40% of the time, especially when it wasn't raining, I would ride my bike to work because it was a half-hour ride. It was fucking awesome. Just I was going from North Hollywood to Burbank, and then there's the other thing is like, not that this would often happen, but then if I have my bike there, I can't run errands. You know, it's like, well, I guess if you want me to run an errand on my bike, but
can't run errands for who?
Just for like, just on the job, like, oh, we got to go to the storage facility and pick up stuff.
Well, I mean, there's some errands you could run. It depends on how small the thing is that you want to pick up, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I did one time load up in my backpack some parts to take to a client that was right down the street, and I rode my bike there, and it was kind of fun.
Well, look, when I was in India, I saw firsthand the amount of shit that people can have on their bikes and still be using bikes.
Fuck yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, I think we're...
I think I probably saw people carrying 2 bicycles on their bike, like transporting bikes somewhere.
Whenever I see somebody with a secondary bike, I always ask it, where'd you get that other bike, bro? Because, you know, typically where they get it from.
Yeah, biking sometimes bothers my lower back a bit, sitting in the seat.
Yeah, but
you know, I'm excited about this bike.
Yeah.
I'm excited about giving it a shot, seeing if I can use it to... I don't know where I want to use it to get around, but I want to try and experiment with that, really push myself to use the thing.
Well, yeah, and exactly. You should put yourself in the position of like anything under, let's say, 5 miles.
I was in Tulum, Mexico with an ex-girlfriend, and we rented bikes and we biked around. That was probably my favorite part of the thing.
Yeah.
Was just biking, feeling the wind, traveling around without a car.
Yeah.
And I like the... Okay, so when you're in a car, yes, your sense of what is close to you and what is far from you changes because you can get places faster. You okay there?
Yeah. So we had a little speed bump.
But the bike felt like it was right in that zone where suddenly things that were kind of far away were kind of close, but you weren't having to go at 60 miles an hour. So it still felt it was in a neighborhood's distance. It just it expanded your range with the bike, but not absurdly. It was just in that nice middle. Ooh, you hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, I ignorantly want to say bats, but I really have no idea what that is.
I think they're just cranes or whatever the birds are that live out here. You know, it's riding a bike feels like freedom, and of course I have, a bicycle and a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And I rode my motorcycle today, and it was, I didn't wear I have a jacket. I just, wore a shirt, and just the feeling of the wind. It was fantastic. And it was hot, but because, you're moving so fast on the motorcycle, you don't really feel it. Now, we have a choice here.
Are we in Frogtown yet?
So Frogtown is when we cross here, we're going to go back to the other side of the thing, and then we'll be officially in Frogtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the idea to be walking through Frogtown to get back to where we started?
No, we're going to go over here. Okay. We're going to get to the other side, and then we'll probably just head back on that side. But this whole section here is all manicured. Like, this is part of the... You see where those lights are there? That's like a little park that was created for the...
Oh, I think we may have walked through there when we did the equestrian center. Is it one of those kind of things?
Yeah, same kind of thing. Same kind of layout. Now, the choice here is go up here and deal with the street, or maybe be able to go under the bridge and then come up on the other side.
Go under the bridge?
Yeah.
Well, how do we go under the bridge without crossing the river on foot?
Well, no, we go under the bridge.
Oh,
yeah, we go under the bridge and then come up on the other side and then walk down.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Yeah,
avoid the street as much
as possible.
We're reclaiming the city one step at a time.
Yeah. We built this city.
Oh, man, I was watching an AC/DC live performance.
Are you a metal fan?
Not really.
Okay.
Kind of.
But
no.
how'd you happen on this?
I was watching a guy doing reaction videos.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
There's
some kind of animal right there. I think it's a bird, though.
Yeah.
Don't get it, Barney.
Sean.
Yes. It's right there. There's the other one.
Another trip. So yeah, I was watching this kid do a reaction to a live performance of Back in Black. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah. I'm back in black.
And
There's another one.
I really liked... So who's the lead singer?
Yngwie. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. With the hat.
With the hat,
Bon
yes.
Scott.
So he was wearing this hat, and he was wearing a jersey that I think maybe number 22 on it. And he had this, like, his body motions were like this kind of like jerky kind of
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I was like, damn, I like this energy. This is great.
Yeah.
And so then I thought, oh, I want to, like, get into AC/DC. And didn't, I forget if it was Beavis or Butthead wore AC/DC on their shirt. But
One of
did.
them, yeah.
And I was
The
like...
classic with the lightning bolt, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I want to get into some of this shit, right? But then what I did was I looked up AC/DC on like a Google image search. Same hat, but like old version of the guy.
Oh, yeah.
So it was... Because the video was probably from... I don't know if it was before I was born.
Probably.
But... Oh, right, but well, the lyric in the song was... forget the hearse because I'll never die.
Yeah.
Okay? And I was like feeling that spirit of like, yeah, fucking rock and roll. We're never gonna die. And then immediately Google image search, oh, what are they doing these days? And I see his like old flabby body still with the hat. I'm like, oh, he's gonna die.
and then moving like more like a zombie corpse.
Well, I didn't watch
Yeah.
any video, but it was just that shock. I went through the journey instantaneously.
Oh, where was it? Who was I talking to? I was listening to a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, J.R. Tolkien." And they're like, "Is he dead?" Yeah, motherfucker's way dead. He's born in the 1880s or 90s or some shit.
Like, I just sped up to the end of the story, or at least where the story is as of today. And isn't it crazy when you find some kind of new phenomenon like that?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, I want to learn all about it. I want to learn all more about it. And then you like go to the Wikipedia page. It's like, oh, it's been dead for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's over. It's gone. It's done. I'm just discovering it new. I mean, it's not the first time I heard a fucking AC/DC song, but still,
it had that nascent energy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Incipient.
But isn't that what rock and roll is about, though? It's about that defiance.
Yeah. Well, I was saying I was walking down here yesterday, and this band Smut was playing in the park in Glassell Park, and you could hear it in the river, and it's like old school punk, like punk, and it was just like fuck yeah. And I was saying to my friend is that the reason I loved punk when I was a kid, you know, I had a lot of chaos and trauma in my life, and it's what my insides felt like. That feeling, I was like, oh, this literally resonates with me. And so it was nice hearing it, and I saw a group of kids, and I was like, oh, this reminds me of like music from the 80s. The good old 80s.
So it just means that once I've got some more cash, I need to buy more records. I think is really what it comes down to.
And I think those are good records to collect because they're still in like an 80s vintage pressings and, you know, and reissues.
Ooh, the great Heron Gates.
Yes. Going into Rattlesnake Park.
I think this is a great place for a selfie, Sean.
Yeah. Oh, I just put Barney down. Hey, bud, come here. We're going to get a picture real quick. I know. You want to just walk on your own. I know.
Can we see the gates? All right, let's move forward a little bit.
This side?
Sure.
And look, it's bros in the dark.
So the camera's over there, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then this guy's getting all lazy. One of those will work. Ooh.
I love how they've got the lock on the gate, but then the opening right
The door's open.
Oh, Rattlesnake Park.
Yeah?
Another rattlesnake.
Yeah, I guess there's probably a lot of rattlesnakes in this neighborhood, or in this part of the world. Here's a poem here. I wish you would walk with me here more often. Red-winged blackbirds nesting in the cattails, electricity humming, and the high-tension lines. Lewis McAdams, The River, Book 1. We should get Lewis on a hike with us.
Probably dead.
I don't know. It sounds like it feels like a pretty modern poem of LA River.
Yeah. I'd be down. If Lewis is around, I'd love to go on a hike with him down the river.
Yeah.
Interview him about... I guess Lewis could be a chick, right?
That spelling looks like... no, that spelling looks like it could be either. Yeah. No. Well, I guess, yeah, it could be. It's a dude. I've all tried to be PC, but it's like, no, that's a fucking dude. So we're officially in Frogtown.
Okay.
But we need to roll back. So we just have more of the river to explore later. But this is also begging the question of when we do the river project.
Oh, yeah.
Where do we start from?
Yeah, walk the LA River.
Walk the LA
I thought
River.
You had an idea of that. You wanted to start somewhere, and you certainly know where you wanted to end, didn't you?
Yeah, it's at the Sepulveda Dam. But
we're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
The river.
Well, it'll take us basically like 6 hours to walk from Griffith Park to Sepulveda Dam. And I found, like I said, if we start early in the morning, we will have shade until at least 12:30, 1 o'clock. Oh, Barney, come here. Come here, bud.
Oh.
Come here, right here. And now, sit. Good boy. So yeah, because the walls are so high, it's just like being in a channel for at least that part of the... So we start at basically the equestrian center and then just walk on the south side of the river all the way to the 405, from the 5 to the 405, basically, following the 10, the 134.
So I want to talk a little bit more about this guy I saw doing reactions.
Oh, yeah.
Because, first of all, so it was a young black guy.
Okay.
He had a twin brother. And, I mean, on one level, the pursuit was very shallow. Because it was basically just listening to an already famous song and being like, man, that's great. Yeah, that guitar is great. Like, man, that's just awesome. I love the feeling of that. Like, it was a very low-level musical analysis. Not that you need to have a high-level musical analysis to fucking enjoy music.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
But he was super positive about all of these different genres he was listening to, right? Like every genre, any genre. You know, he's watching Elton John, right? He's not making fun of Elton John for how weird his sparkly thing looks. It's more just like this, yeah, everything's great. They're all doing it with passion. I love it all, right?
Yeah.
So I was sort of had this feeling of, oh, it's like this love of all music. It's like, oh, this attitude is going to bring the world together. It's going to bring all the cultures together. I don't know, that looking at all of these, I feel like in the 70s and the 80s, or even just today, there's going to be segments of the population, different social groups that sort of associate themselves with certain kinds of music.
Yeah.
And say, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that other kind of music, right?
Yeah.
But because this was a teenager looking back at all of this stuff, perhaps it allowed one to look at it with fresh eyes and the sense of distance, because it's not really supposed to be his music or any one group's music. It's like you're just looking at all of this beautiful music of all different kinds, of all different expressions, and just recognizing them all for the awesomeness that's unique to them, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, this is a really positive attitude.
Yeah.
Just listen to music and just love music.
Just love it.
So then it occurred to me, okay, none of these videos can be monetized, because if they were, because this is on YouTube, then
he wouldn't be able to have the copyrighted.
Yeah, so
the license.
If any money would be made on them, it would be going to whoever owns the copyright.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, but this guy's getting like 10,000, sometimes hundreds of thousands of views on his reaction video. So what's the
Where's the rub?
what's the
Where's
model
the
here?
scam?
And it's Patreon again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, I'm doing these reaction videos.
Yeah.
Support me on Patreon. So it's not about the YouTube advertisement,
No.
right? So what a weird little, as you might say, kludged together backdoor using multiple platforms to... Oh, and then it's like, but follow me on social
Hold on
media,
a second.
too.
Hey, Barney, come here. Here. Now sit.
Sit.
Oh, good boy. Good boy.
Nice. Look
Yeah.
at that. No fuss, no muss.
No, he's just like, as long as we're both there, I think that's the key. Like, he was looking to you to, like, are we standing on the side or not? You know, like, I could see a little hesitation in him. But yeah, the whole pack pulls over, he pulls over. Yeah.
So, just what a weird world. And also just, who am I to judge about, it's a reaction video. So I think there's an attitude on a lot of YouTubers that, like, reaction videos are the lowest form of content, kind of.
Well, we should encourage people to do reaction podcasts to our podcast.
Of
where they're
course.
just listening to our podcast and then, like, maybe footnoting and just, like, yelling at us. Come on, guys. Get it right, you know what I mean? Like, and then you could just hear us just barely in the background, but it's this guy just talking over us. I think we also should do our own reaction podcast to our...
Well, reaction videos were one of the original
Yeah, that's what
forms of YouTube.
PewDiePie, right?
But I mean, even before him.
Oh, yeah, for
Because
sure.
you used to be able to, on YouTube, reply to someone's video with your own video.
With your own video.
And there was
That's
like an actual
There's a whole community.
discussion chain. Yeah. And so now they still do that, but you can't reply to it directly. But it's like one
just
person
linked.
will be live streaming and you'll see a screen of them talking, but they're reacting to someone else's take.
Yeah.
So they're watching someone else's show and then pausing it and then commenting on it. So it's this infinite sort of, what do you say?
Kind of a feedback loop.
Yeah, an infinite feedback loop. Well, there's our turnaround time.
Oh.
What do you think? Should we keep going?
Yeah, let's
for a
keep
little
going. Yeah, well, I mean, we're basically turned around already.
bit? Okay.
Yeah. I was doing the calculations in my head. I guess I was a little bit early. But it makes me think, like, obviously, well, people were able to make ends meet or whatever before there were giant multinational corporations.
Somehow.
You know, they farmed or whatever, traded or whatever. There was ways for people to just live off of the land. You know, there was land to live off of, and you know, if you managed it properly and traded properly, everybody was taken care of.
Well, unless there was a famine and then a lot of people died.
Well, then that's what happened. It sucks. And yes, the technology and hoarding is in response to that for sure. But this is almost like digital farming. He's out, got his little.
Yeah.
He's plowing his fucking yard. He's like he's plucking the already existing fruit and just describing the flavor of the fruit.
Yeah.
To the audience. He doesn't actually have to farm anymore, but then he says, well, if you like how I describe the flavor of this fruit,
Yep.
please put a drachma in my hat, my lord. Thank you for your largesse. But given the, I mean,
it's not too different, though, from a fucking radio show where the DJ introduces the music and then talks about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
It's all just different levels of how they're talking about it. But that's the thing. I started watching his channel not necessarily because I wanted to hear what he had to say, but I was like, oh, I haven't listened to that classic song in a while. Let's go watch that one. And then I just kind of enjoyed seeing him enjoy music a little bit, you know?
I also think it's
the innocence of it, if I can say.
I also think it's a little bit like emceeing, meaning they used to have these parties. The way emceeing started was like in Jamaica, where they'd have these parties, and just some guy would be just hyping some other fucking dude who was the actual real performer, and then that became the act, became rap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a complimentary piece.
Yeah. But then of course now the complimentary piece becomes the piece in and of itself.
Yes.
Yes.
And then on top of that, I was thinking, man, in this world, in this capitalist dystopian nightmare, man, make your fucking hustle however you can,
Yeah,
right? If you
yeah.
can make money reacting to music and getting people to support you on Patreon, like, more fucking power to you, man.
Well, so I have a friend who is...
I'm not going to insist you do real work. I'm not doing, quote, real work.
Well,
right?
but there's, again, like, what is real work?
Well, that's why I'm putting it in quotes.
Yeah,
I'm
that's like-
talking about the real work of the people who would actually use that phrase.
Yeah, well,
Real work.
they've never done a goddamn day of... No, I'm just kidding. But it's
Isn't
like...
it a philosophical proposition? Isn't real work... Anytime you put real in front of something, including real Donald Trump, it is
Yeah.
a philosophical proposition.
Yeah, it is. Because then you're attempting to define what the reality is. And the reality is, I would say, ever-changing. I would say our envy spirit considers considers real work some kind of fucking, tools, drudgery. But he's not...
I think I've got a new theory of real work for him.
Yeah, but he's not doing the real work of going out in the fields and fucking harvesting vegetables.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's the real work. The other stuff is just fucking building fucking cabinets or whatever,
Well, my theory is more just that real work is any work that the envy spirit is doing.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's not what the envy
He's
spirit
doing-
is doing, then it's not real work.
Yeah.
That's the easiest... from the standpoint of it being a bit, that seems the most...
And again, that you're if you're not doing the same exact thing that he's doing, and you have any kind of privilege or advantage, you're automatically maligned. Like I had to use, like, he was asking me about what kind of work I was doing, right? And I was like, I had to do the whole, oh, I am so sad. Oh, look that's a beautiful moon. A beautiful crescent moon.
I thought this was a frog. Some kind of frog creature. Maybe. I'm not sure what that is.
It could be a frog.
Vote Acme.
How's it going?
You're going to vote Acme?
It is creepy, though.
Don't Acme, bro.
Convict.
Or is it convict?
I don't know, but there was a bike riding up it. So it was, convict yourself.
It is still a bit muggy, I gotta say.
Yeah, I think we're also getting extra mug from the...
From the freeway exhaust?
Well, they're definitely from the freeway, but from the river.
We're in the transportation sandwich.
We are in the sandwich. Holy shit. We're in the fucking... Either in the lettuce layer or the mayonnaise layer.
I don't know. I think we might be like a really thin slice of bologna.
Yeah, we are. The thinnest slice. Like the gabba-da-goo.
Like a prosciutto.
A prosciutto.
Slice of bologna.
Oh, so
A bologna.
somehow I ended up at some crazy art party. It was right around here. Is that there's a bike shop that was the location of this art collective... their Christmas party a couple years ago. Again, like, I don't know how I ended up there, but they had a suckling pig on a fucking, like, on a spit, and it had been like completely like brined and roasted, and like you could just slice pieces off of the pig right there and make your own. Oh, a little dystopia. Excuse me?
Let's just keep going.
They're living on Tom Sawyer's Island. I can't tell if they're fighting or putting on a show for us. Does it sound like the door getting slammed?
I don't know.
But I suppose if you're a person suffering from mental health issues, having a tent on an island in the LA River next to the 5 is probably a good place to live. You know what I mean? Like they've got
for sure.
no neighbors to disrupt. So I guess what I want to try, since we're probably coming back a little bit too early, is go back over the bridge and go that way, and then come back the next bridge and come this way. Do like we'll be doing a figure 8.
I don't like hearing people fighting.
No, it's very disruptive.
You had a big old smile on your face.
I thought they were doing a bit. I thought they were like trying to make enough sound to draw our attention.
Well, they certainly did get your attention.
Yeah. And it sounded like, again, like the rhythm of the voices didn't sound like real panicked fighting. It felt more like, oh, why do you always do that kind of fighting? A door and a pipe.
You seem to have... Whoa, what a weird door. Seem to have gleaned a lot more information from the sounds than I did. I couldn't even hear what they were talking about. I don't know. It still, whether it was that kind of argument or not, it just still sounded... I just don't like hearing it. I just don't.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been in one of those kind of fights in a long time.
Oh, we were kind of yelling at each other a little bit the other week.
Yeah, that's true. But
It wasn't like that, though.
Nothing like that. Oh, and you heard how big my voice can get when I decide I want to scare somebody. Well,
the stage also trains us well for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
So let's look at the extremes, like, okay, sprinting.
Yeah.
Or even just running, but say sprinting or just like yelling at the top of your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
These are capacities that we have. Without practicing them, I might say, lose our ability to do them well, or at least we don't have as much endurance as we would if we practiced them more. But I'm imagining that, at a certain point, people have gone decades without ever
screaming,
yelling, without ever screaming, or decades without ever running.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, getting a little out of practice. But in essence, let's say, if you were, because you talk a lot about all these almost like superpowers, these human capabilities that we could have if we just, like the echolocation, and if we just decided to engage in them,
Yeah.
Now, if we were in that spot because I feel like if I take enough clown classes, there's definitely some good yelling going on, or improv classes. And then, there's also in clown classes a lot of running. But if you took if you just decided to run or scream every day or whatever it is, these capabilities, if you got in the practice of it, real quick.
No.
I love the shadow of the spider web just fluttering in the wind.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it built its web right around that light.
Yeah, probably so that... probably a very resourceful spot for a spider. But the flies just... or whatever he's eating over here, just go right into that fucking... It's under every light. There's like 2 or 3 of them that have...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know that bugs are often attracted to light.
It makes them horny. Yeah, all of these have... Oh, oh shit, there's a lot of them.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like clockwork. There they are, every time.
That's so cool. And they're all like a little bit different.
It's a little spider Manhattan on the bridge.
Yeah.
Spider Manhattan Bridge.
Well, yeah, or they're They're like, there's these bridges in Europe that were all these merchant spots. Like everybody would, build their little shop on the bridge. Yeah. So I was noticing as I was going down the river the other day, there's those little pipes that come out like maybe a foot off of the ground, and often they will just have a string of spider webs, just like as if the pipe is just firing webs out of it, just like at an angle down to the street. And to me, it was such a beautiful kind of just like these, like having the spiders next to these little lights. How you guys doing?
Good, and you both?
It's hot still. You too. Oh, that weed smells good. Try the same thing here. Go under the bridge instead of across the street.
Man, that is some dank weed.
That is some dank weed. I'm actually kind of surprised there aren't more unhoused people around here.
Well, we've seen quite a few.
A few, but it just seems like this seems like I don't want to say a nice area. But
You sound bummed out.
no, but it's like, maybe Sepulveda Dam is a safer area somehow. Oh, this is kind of creepy.
I mean, there was literally a person just lying on the bridge there as we were walking over.
Yeah.
What's going on? Good idea.
Speed bumps. And it looked like a female, right? Did you get that sense?
Yeah, got that
Yeah.
sense.
I don't know why that bums me out extra, but it does. Good thing we're going to Wildwood tomorrow.
It may not be Thursday, but we'll try and do it anyway. We'll have to figure something out for Wildwood because, I mean, it's tough to get up there, there's no doubt.
Yes.
But we also know that when you get up there, there's all kinds of trails that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
So we either, I mean, I don't
Figure
know
out a
that there's
loop.
any way to get up there other than to hike up there.
Yeah. Well, no, there is, but I'm not sure how.
Because, yeah, I definitely want to explore the hiking that's up there,
How's it going?
which means we either have to be in better shape
Yeah.
or just be willing to hack it and have it be in better conditions.
Yeah.
But, oh man, the way it opened up there and walking along the ridges up there, I would just love to spend hours doing that.
Well, it's because I saw some people on bikes up there.
Uh-huh.
So there's definitely a path, not where we came, up to there.
Okay.
And I think it connects to Dante Peak, and I think that the whole mountain range is connected, and that's just one peak. Now I wonder if that slope that that we're going to attempt is, I don't know, just more direct, but maybe there's other. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'd have to look at a map. But one of the things that I like doing on our hikes is kind of not looking at a map a little bit. It's just kind of like going and seeing where we go. And we know this path. I think you get me at 8:30 tomorrow. We get there while it's still a little bit cool. I've got a better shade hat now. Might be a couple degrees cooler than it was last time we tried. Just do it. Just attempt. I'll also bring Barney's backpack.
You won't have the pressure of Dan's imminent death happening if you fail.
Well, this is true. This is 100%.
How's he doing, by the way?
Oh, his brother's supposed to be coming into town tonight.
Okay.
So I've been trying to keep an eye on my phone for him to call me, but he has not called me. So I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling a little... So this is the part we walked to the other day.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the other day,
A couple
week.
weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, I remember these...
Barriers, yeah.
Barney was walking on them a little bit.
Yeah.
We saw, I don't know if it was like a ranger or someone there. They were doing a
Yeah.
little construction.
Yeah. It's part of some kind of river project guy over here smoking a joint. No, he wasn't.
So, I didn't hear a lot of frogs in Frogtown. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
because we didn't go deep enough or because...
I just don't think that they're there as much anymore.
Oh.
I think they've been eaten by the fucking birds. Now it seems to be more of a nature reserve for birds, more so.
Well, there were birds on the gate.
Yeah.
Bird supremacy.
We'll go one to the next bridge.
Oh, I love how the moon is just kind of right hanging above this bridge, though.
Oh, yeah, let's go across.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't so much like how the moon is hanging in those power lines.
Yeah, but it definitely feels like we're walking into some mythological landscape. Like
Yeah.
what's the light bridge of Asgard?
I was going to say it feels a little bit like Spirited Away.
Yes! Or Howl's Moving Castle.
We've gone on a world tour just by walking at night around the river in the city.
Yeah. First we started, there was a lot of French influence.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just hear the river, even with the cars. I want to hear the river a bit.
And those little clicky insects.
I do like hanging out in these transitional places
Yeah.
on top of the bridge.
I mean, these are mythologically powerful, narratively powerful,
Right.
bridges and tunnels, portals, gateways,
Fences.
I mean, really, a bridge is just a fence over a river. Right, Barney? Oh, you are just a good boy. Just a good boy. No, you don't want me to pick you up? I won't. Oh, who's a good boy? Such a good boy, Barney.
Yeah, that must be why I like it. The transitional periods, the transitional... It's like it's just its own zone with its own rules.
And it's like we're getting a nice breeze.
Take those places where you're supposed to be going from one place to the other and make that place
A place.
a place.
Yeah. I think if we talk about the Caplet's dystopian nightmare,
Yeah.
there's a sense of trying to make everything a transitional space, right? You're only renting this place. You're only leasing this car. You can only stay at Starbucks as long as you have a coffee.
Yeah.
But
I was listening to Zizek talk about that a little bit
yeah,
today. Something about capitalism turning, did you say transitional forms or transient forms, turning everything into like a disassociated transient thing?
yeah. That sounds about right. This is this idea of like, you get in your car. I mean, I did it today. As we were coming here, I just automatically got off on the fucking my exit instead of being present with you in the car, knowing that I was coming here. I just automatically just was in road hypnotism mode and just did the thing. Mm-hmm. It goes both ways, right? Where you just follow steps and you don't know how you got there. And the other thing is you blink and you're 10 miles past your exit. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of hypnosis in the design of these, of our capitalist spaces.
Well, I think that it's not all bad. I mean, the capitalism part might be all bad, but design, at least in a non-artistic sense, in a functional sense, like you want it to be able to function kind of without thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's an argument to be made, but I'll go along with you.
Yeah, like if you want to... Like if you are at a website, or a store for that matter, with poor design, you start hitting all these barriers and you don't know how to get to where you're trying to get, and it becomes this really cumbersome process. Whereas if the design is done well, then just the way the room is shaped and like it all gives you the cues for how the flow is kind of supposed to be. And that can allow you to enjoy whatever the function of the space is supposed to be, as opposed to trying to figure out how to navigate it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to art, oftentimes it's exactly the opposite.
Yep.
It's like we're going to force you to enter these new realms of consciousness because you can't just slip into it. You know, we're going to make it kind of hard to deal with.
In the blink of an eye, Walter Murch's magnum opus on editing, he says you make the edit when people would normally blink. If you feel like you need to blink, that's where you make your edit. So he is of the frame of mind that editorial should be invisible, right?
Right.
But I think as a person who's creating art, I want the montage and the bricolage aspect to be revealed. I want it to feel like it's almost like you ever seen what's that? Where the eyeball of the horse gets cut. Oh, it's a Salvador Dali and Louis Buñuel movie. But they go and they put the straight razor next to the actor's eye, and then they cut to a horse's eyeball being cut, and then they cut back. And again, what they were trying to do is give you that feeling in that cut. And I think that
the feeling of what?
Of the disgust of the actual cutting of the eye, right?
Well, you are seeing a horse's eye get cut? An actual horse's eye?
Yeah, well,
it's
a dead horse, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that to me, it's like that's where the meaning is created, is between the cuts, or the meaning is created on this bridge. You know, this bridge is kind of a translation between that side and this side, and we're now having to reconcile these two different geographies by being in the transition. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm glad you forced us. I'm glad you asked us to stop. Whatever those clicky insects are.
I mean, this river project, this really is a little patch of nature that has been put here to grow and seems to be thriving pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just so weird for me to hear that insect, to hear these little pieces of wilderness surrounded by all of this city noise and getting them both at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like you usually don't hear them at the same time at all. I guess that might have been why hearing frogs would have been interesting too, but instead we get... there's ones on this side too.
Yeah.
And if we had just passed through, might not have ever noticed them. if we had only hung out here for 5 minutes, you might not have ever noticed them. But if you stay in a zone long enough, the new parts of it start to reveal itself to you.
Yeah. And I also think that it's revealing itself not only because we're standing still, but maybe they're not as afraid of us, and they're being more willing to be more vocal. Because
Or maybe they're just impatient. They're like, fuck, oh well, I guess we got to keep going on with it.
I need to get laid, bro. I got to keep clicking my legs, or whatever it is, however they make that sound. It's got to be some kind of... I mean, it's a mating call for sure.
By the way, Sean, I'm sorry you didn't get laid.
I'm just happy I saved the money.
I got laid just the other day.
Huzzah! Affirmation of life! Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. I mean, it's like, why aren't we in that celebratory mode every time we have sex?
It is,
you know?
Hava, Nagila, Hava. Sean, I got laid!
Oh, isn't it the best? Isn't that the true gift of life?
It was
Is connecting
beautiful.
with another human being and figuring out orgasms?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I also like, how's your mood now?
Well, I mean, better, obviously.
Right? Okay, I have a theory. I gotta throw you this theory.
Okay.
So,
if it's that sex puts you in a good mood, I'm going to say that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, no, but I think here's kind of why. I mean, obviously there's hormonal changes and all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it's more about, like, when you jerk off, you're not getting all that much jizz out of your body. But when you have sex, just more comes out.
Really?
Because
I don't find that for me. I find it's totally a function of when the last time I jizzed was.
Oh, I always come more when I'm with another person.
I don't think I've ever done a scientific study.
Well, I'll say it definitely feels like more. It feels like I feel more drained after sex than I do after masturbation. You know? And maybe that's part of it is the exercise. But it also feels like the orgasms last longer with another person than
it can. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you get the skin-on-skin feeling, you get the whole thing. You get the sounds. And the communication. Sex is a communicative act.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that you're giving pleasure to the other person, I think that making of sweet music together, the fucking jam, you're like in a fucking jam band, a 2-person jam band. But I also, in that you orgasm more, I also think of it in terms of like all of the angst I had that has been kind of getting reinfected into my semen finally just gets out. I mean, because we're carrying it around.
No, I know,
you know what I mean?
I know what
like,
you're saying.
Like a toxicity almost, you know?
I know what you're saying.
And I don't hear people talking about this on podcasts. So I was like, this might be the time to get this bizarre theory out there.
What, that you store all of your angst in your semen?
In your jizz, yeah. And that, or it's there kind of at a low grade level, and then when you ejaculate, you get a little bit of it out. And then if you can ejaculate more until you're completely exhausted, maybe you're like, okay, I could start fresh. You know, like I popped that zit. I've gotten all the fucking pus out of it.
Well, look, I could try to deconstruct all the mysticism out of this, but I'm just going to give you a much-needed win here and say, I love it, Sean. I think that's a fantastic theory.
Oh, I mean...
And I think there's a lot of truth in that theory. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah, I'm using a lot of metaphoric language, but I think that the hormonal exhaustion that you experience, like literally exhausting the hormones you've created in your gonads, the fucking oxytocin, the vasopressin, and I can't remember the third one, vasopressin, oxytocin, and...
Well, look,
but all that...
After you come, it's like you fulfilled your biological destiny, so you can relax for a moment.
Yeah, there's no predators? We're okay right now?
It's like, I did it. 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah, reality! They want to go get something to eat. Then you can at least fulfill some other...
It's like, next.
Yeah, some other... But if...
Fuck, eat, sleep, shit.
Oh,
fuck,
my
eat,
God.
sleep, shit. Fuck, eat, sleep, shit.
I used to say... Mine was eat, shit, fuck, repeat if necessary. That's all you need to life. That's a basic good life right there.
Well, look, no matter how many conversations we have, no matter how many mind walks we do, no matter what extra shit we're trying, or maybe shit isn't the right word to use here because shit is too important a word in this conversation.
Yes, it's true.
No matter what we add to it, until the day we die, it's going to be filled with shitting and pissing and eating
Yeah.
and sleeping and
Walking
hopefully
and-
fucking. Not necessarily fucking,
Yeah.
but hopefully. Hava.
Nagila, Hava.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, dancing on the bridge, baby. Oh, yes. It's the best. The best.
I just needed to be intimate with someone who wasn't you.
Yeah, no, it helps, right?
Well,
I
when
mean,
you texted me the other night, and you're like, I'm not going to almighty up. I'm hanging
I
out
was
with
like, my
forget her
friend.
name, but I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a great idea because then you called me while you were high and while I was high, and we talked it out. We broed it out.
Yeah.
We feelinged it. We forgivenessed it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I will say that I also I softened myself to you. I apologize also for being difficult over this last week. To you today, I say that to you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's
You're welcome.
It is the fact of being humans is you can't be completely pleasant all the time. You know, it's just the nature of life.
See,
And-
I wanted to say that to you though when we were in the conversation after you said it to me.
Yeah.
But I've kind of taken a different tactic in my older age here, my older, younger age.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like, because sometimes it's almost like I'm stealing the energy if I do that. It's like, oh, you're sorry to me, oh, but I'm sorry to you.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Oh, I
and
get
instead,
it.
like, let this be.
that-
I'm here to hear you and let you express that.
Nice.
And also, it nips in the bud any sense that forgiveness has to be reciprocated in order for it to feel good about doing it.
Oh, I like that. I like that a
Because
lot.
otherwise it's like, hey, I just forgave you. Like, why didn't you forgive me? Then it's like, okay, then were you really? Then it becomes a tit for tat, and then you're not really out of it.
No.
So it's like, if you're in that mood to express that to me in that moment, then I want to be there to receive your emotions and not just instantly make it about me. Because it comes from a place of insecurity almost. It's like,
I
need
see
to
what you're
say,
saying.
I'm sorry to you back as well. you know?
It's interesting. It's
Instead of
almost
just
like
letting it
polite.
hang.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want it to be that.
It's interesting, but I think that's I appreciate that for sure. I also think that there's this the way in which you received it instead of doing the tit for tat thing. You gave it a certain kind of grace. You gave it you let it allowed that moment to have its own moment of grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. And I felt it. I felt like just like. Now, I didn't have to do any I would say heavy lifting of forgiveness of you after that.
Right?
I just get to unburden myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. That's good. This is a good note. This is a good note for everybody. It's just like let the person have their moment.
Yeah. No need for a game of one-upsmanship and that sort of thing.
I
right?
think I'm trying to get. I mean, even though we're a couple of smarty pantses and we want to get our perspective in. And there is a bit of one-upmanship, but I don't feel myself personally any need for that around you. There are some people where it's just like, oh, now I got to tell them my horrific story about this thing, But but that's because we've had hundreds of hours of conversations, and we just know we're going to get to that story eventually. It's not so pressing. We're not so OCD about having to tit for tat. But isn't that if you could get a tat for your tits?
Yeah. You like tats on tits.
I do. I used to say if I went into let's say a DMV, a government office, and the non-white woman helping me had a tattoo on her tit, I would be like, I'm going to be able to win the day. Because I know that they're probably not having a great day. And then
because they're working at the DMV.
DMV or whatever it is. Then I come in under their energy.
We want to walk in the tennis court?
Yes. I'm like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And then I find a way to make them laugh at the dumb fucking white guy that's trying to get his fuck. And then ostensibly that leads to them wanting to help me out more because I've lightened their day. I made them feel like a real human being. I made them seen. So So are we going to do Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead?
You ready?
Yeah.
Ready for service?
Yeah. Oh, foot fault. No, I'm just kidding. I love that Barney thought we were really throwing balls or something.
This reminds me of that famous picture of, it's like, I think it might have been, I don't know if it was a Playboy shot or not, but it was like a woman
it's
with
Playboy.
her skirt up.
And she's bending over to
butt
get
cheeks with the net, with the tennis net.
And she's leaning over to get the ball or something. Yeah. It's definitely Playboy. Yeah.
Something about tennis.
Oh, it's all about love. I played a bit of tennis. I do not like tennis. Right, Barney? Arr, arr, arr.
I do not like tennis. Barney's excited because we were just excited.
Yeah.
We're playing around.
Yeah. Such a funny dog. I mean,
A tennis court. Isn't that the answer to some riddle?
Uh,
A tennis court?
Oh, it's probably something like, what kind of court doesn't have a bailiff, doesn't have a judge?
I think it might be like some kind of Batman, the animated series Riddler thing.
Yeah.
It's just sticking out in my mind now. I know. A tennis court.
Yeah. I think wasn't that Mark Hamill doing the voice of the Joker? Fucking Luke Skywalker.
The Joker!
Yeah. I think that's Mark Hamill
I was
Joker.
known for doing a good Mark Hamill's Joker back in sleepaway camp. I was one of the best Jokers.
Yeah, I think so. It's so weird he got to play at least two iconic characters.
Oh, what, Luke Skywalker and the Joker?
Yeah. Two greats. I mean, you look at like fucking then
Well, he originated Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker, but then you look at Harrison Ford, and he's got fucking Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Well, they're basically the same character. Though.
It's true, but it's still
Cue the ire of the fanboys.
yeah. But it's still like, how often are you going to be part of two gigantic pieces of art like that? You know? Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. Hey! Thanks for joining us. This has been a pretty amazing mind walk. If you want to go on your own mind walk, that would be awesome.
Subscribe to the Mind Walk podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow us on social media at MindWalkPod, and support us on Patreon.
Yeah, come and be on our Mind Walk Pod Patreon page, and you get all of it for $10 a month.
Or just $5 a month if you want 3 episodes, or
$1.99 and you get
nothing.
Mind Walk.